Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Crystal Putoff and this is going to be the second step in creating this windmill pattern on an egg. So in the first step, I move my display eggs out of the way. In the first step, sorry about that. Okay, so in the first step we drew an 8-pointed star and we drew 8 diamonds around the border, the band on the border. Number 8 is essential, so you want to do a lot of measurements to make sure you have 8, otherwise your windmill won't work out. And we drew these as dotted lines because we're not going to put wax on all the lines. So I drew dotted lines now, and then we went back and drew the solid lines. So now what we're going to do is some more dotted lines, and I'm going to make some kind of a mandala. People have called it starburst, but from here to here is 1 centimeter, and I've made a dot. From here to here is 1 centimeter, and I made a dot. From the point to here is 1 centimeter, and I made a dot. So we're going to draw these again as dotted lines. So I'll make 8, and I have marked this out. You can't really see it there on the video, but there's 8. I like to count as I do them to make sure I did them all, because it's going to get a little confusing. And I'm doing dotted lines. If you have different colored pencils, I use a blue pencil lead. You could also use a red pencil lead, so you could vary it. That would help distinguish the lines. So I drew 8 diamonds that go around this. Now I'm going to do another 8 that go here. And because your egg is oval shaped, you're going to get some of them will be closer to the band than others. That's normal. You do want to keep it, if you can, lined up along here as best you can. It's not real critical, because what you're going to see in a minute is we're actually going to draw lines that are a little curved. So I drew 8 here around it. So we started with the 8-pointed star in the center, went around it once, went around it twice. Now we're going to do the third one, and this one, this point is going to meet up to our to the diamond on the border. So we're going to draw, and it'll look like that. And so some of them are going to be a little squishier looking, and some of them are going to be bigger, and that's because the egg is oval. If the egg were perfectly round, like kind of a more round shape like an ostrich egg, these would be a little more uniformly shaped. But you'll see it doesn't, the shape of the egg doesn't matter as much. Personally, I think this looks nice on a longer egg, but it certainly works. I did it on an ostrich egg, and it worked very well. Okay, so now we have 8-pointed star, drew around it once, twice, 3 times. The third time it matched up to there. Now what we're going to do is draw a solid line that is going to be this line here that makes this, we're going to make this area in here in between where the yellow and the green is. So I'm going to go to one of the star points, and I'm going to follow the line over to here, this line here. And I'm going to make it a little bit of a curved shape. So it kind of follows it. It may not exactly. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. This time I'm going to go from the point. So I've created this wide band here. So I'll do that 8 times. So I've done 2. There's 3, 4, 5. I guess I didn't go all the way, did I? 6. Always make sure you're starting from the point of your 8-pointed star. 7. And there's 8. Okay. So now I have 8 sections coming out from like this part of the star. So it kind of goes up like that. There, matches up with this. Now in here, the pattern I developed, you have the swirl coming out, but then you also have another part of it in here. And the way I do that, so if you're looking at your egg, from the first row of diamonds that you drew out from the 8-pointed star, there's this point here where it meets up, right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to my diamond on my border, and I would measure this, but I'm going to go to the halfway point. So there's about the halfway point. And I'm going to draw a line that parallels this line and meets up at that point. So this space is going to get narrower, and you'll see. So we have this space, and then we have this space. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. Here's the halfway point. Here's where it meets up there. And I'm going to draw my line down to there. And when I do the wax, I'll kind of smooth that out a little bit. So it's a little, the lines here are still a little jagged. Primarily because of trying to do this and videotape it at the same time, quite honestly. So I'll continue to go around the egg doing that, meeting up there, down to there, all the way around the egg. I'm actually going to do it from this direction now. So I'm going to start from here. You do have a lot of lines on your eggs, so you want to know where you're stopping. I like to put the starting point where I'm going to go and the end point where I'm going to go. Just kind of helps me keep everything in perspective. Here and here. And if it helps to know where your border diamonds are, I could have gone ahead and drawn in whatever I was going to put in here. So let's say I was going to put in an 8-pointed star. You know, I could have drawn that in all of the border diamonds so that it would help me distinguish it from the rest of the pattern. Okay, so here and here. You don't have to do an 8-pointed star. You can put whatever you want in there. See, now like that line was a little jagged, so we'll fix that one. And I always tell my students, you know, the pencil lines are just a guideline. It's when you put the wax on that matters. So. And okay, so we have all these lines drawn on there. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, and then next week I'll come back and show you how I put patterns within here, how I do that part. All right, thanks for watching.